And the G-Stone Motors commercial trucks on Foot Street in Middlebury is also an important local business here and is helping to sponsor the program this morning. And actually, they also provided us with our next guests. Gardner Stone is with G-Stone Motors commercial trucks, and his daughter Darcy is here as well. They are both in that business, and I want to find out a little bit about first. Just maybe start with you, Gardner, because I suspect you've been with the business a little longer than your daughter has, perhaps. Tell us a little bit about the business. What do you do?
Well, we buy and sell heavy equipment and also heavy trucks of all different kinds. We have about 5 lines of trailers, including Featherlight. We have 3 or 4 lines of flatbed car carriers and wreckers. And a little bit of anything. We will buy and sell anything and take absolutely anything in trade.
And Darcy, what's your role in the business there?
Actually, I am the owner.
You're the owner? Okay. You have taken it over from your dad, I gather.
I have.
Okay. And you're how do you feel about it? I mean, is the business going well? Is it?
It is. The economy is really turned around. We're extremely busy. All the people that come through the store, they're all busy, so it's definitely headed in the right direction.
Wow, that's good to hear. And I know for a long time after the last recession of a decade or so ago, it seemed to be things were. I mean, how would you describe it? I think things were sort of going along, but improving more slowly. Is that right?
They absolutely were. There was no urgency for anybody to do anything or spend any money. They weren't sure where things were going, so a lot of people just left it in the bank and said, well, maybe someday. Well, someday's finally here.
Somebody's finally here, and you guys are making hay while the sun shines, I'm guessing.
We're trying.
That's great. And on Foot Street in Middlebury, I don't get over here a whole lot, and I'm a little bit unfamiliar. Is that downtown or whereabouts?
That actually is right behind the A&W.
Oh, okay. So off of Route 7,
correct,
south of town, and your business there, I guess, won't be as affected then by. What I'm guessing is the big story here right now in terms of downtown Middlebury, which is this huge construction project that's already underway and will get more intense in the coming years.
It will. A lot of businesses are affected by that. A lot are going out, unfortunately. It's never good to see businesses that have been in town a long time go out.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate.
Yeah. Gardner, what's your sense? How long have you been in Middlebury now?
I was born here in 1941.
Born here in 41, so
Yep.
you've been here.
Been here a while.
A while, yeah. And I have heard about the Sears going to be going out if they haven't already. The Ben Franklin downtown, I guess, is fading. What's the overall climate like? I mean, are other places coming up to replace those old standbys, or how's that going?
It's very, very tough. The box stores are really having a terrific hard time. We just lost Sears also downtown, or in the...
on the Exchange Street?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the other stores are on, really in shaky ground. It's very, very difficult for some of them to maintain. And, we've had it awful tough since 08, 09. I mean, our business went just down the tubes, but luckily we had enough staying power. We could stay with it and keep here, but some businesses couldn't. It's tough in Middlebury to start a new business.
Yeah, I would imagine that's the case. I mean, you have a rural economic base here, which basically means less activity than you'd have certainly in, say, Chittenden County, for instance, but in your kind of business, I would gather people come from some distance in order to buy trucks and trailers and that sort of thing. Is that the case?
We're very active on the internet. Actually, we ship overseas stuff.
Wow.
We've sold flatbed car carriers and wreckers as far as California and Texas.
Wow.
We're very, very active on the internet, and that's saving our bacon.
The internet is, yeah.
Yeah. We just have to be very, very aggressive, and we are.
Well, that's fascinating. Now, and so the internet is a bit of a double-edged sword. Then it sounds like it's a good thing for you folks. Obviously, for some of the local retailers who've seen their business decline because people are doing so much shopping online, that would be the opposite story, I guess.
What we sell people have to feel it, have to drive it, have to touch it, have to whatever.
Yeah,
And it would be very difficult just to solely buy everything we have on the line. We buy on the internet once in a while, but boy, I'll tell you what, you have your fingers crossed when you get that piece of equipment and hope it's as good as they said it was.
Yeah. That is, I mean, that is I don't understand online clothes shopping myself, because when I buy a pair of pants, I want to try them on.
I agree.
And I mean, I guess you can send them back and so on if they don't fit, but it's pretty cumbersome that way.
The internet is a double-edged sword for us, though, as well,
Huh.
because you have all your inventory on the internet. So do all the other dealers in the world.
Yeah.
And especially used, what we have used is not going to be the exact thing somebody else has. But when customers are shopping, most of the time today, they're looking at the dollar figure.
Yeah.
So Dad's right. In order to compare apples to apples, they really have to come to the store, touch it, feel it, drive it. That doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
So it can be a negative for us as well.
In part because you're not exactly the center of the universe here
Exactly.
in Madison County. It's and I mean, I would guess that, and I hear this complaint from folks around Rutland that there's no interstate highway.
There's no easy way to get here.
I just came over from Montpelier this morning, and through Richmond and Heinsberg and all that, and I've seen beautiful drive, but it's a project.
It's a cow path.
Yeah.
It's Addison County.
But as I say, it is gorgeous. So there's upsides and downsides to lots of different things. And let me ask you, Gardner. What do you think the long-term future? I mean, you obviously have transferred the business now to your daughter, Darcy. You hopeful? Are you telling her that this is going to be a good workable thing for her, or what do you think?
Well, we hope so, and all indications are yes. But you always got to keep your eye on the ball. You always got to try new avenues. I mean, once you get complacent in any business, you're going backwards.
Yeah.
And you never can afford to get complacent. So Darcy's, she's one of the only dealers that we deal with at big auctions, a lady standing up and bidding and looking at equipment. I really take my hat off to her. She's right in there with the men hammering and pounding. So she's learning. And the other store, the G-Stone Motors, my son is in the same deal. I turned that over to him. So I told him, just send me a welfare check once a week and we're good.
Well, you are. How old are you now, Gardner?
I'll be 77 in November.
You deserve to get sent a check now and then. That's what I say. And Darcy, when did you take over the business?
Well, officially last year,
Uh-huh.
the business. Just recently, actually this week, I took over the property.
Okay.
So the whole kit and caboodle is on my shoulders.
Well, I think congratulations. I hope you're.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I enjoy what I do. It's a challenge. It's never dull and boring.
Yeah, and what are your hopes for the future? Do you see growth here? Do you think it's going to be a good thing going forward?
I think so. If Trump keeps doing what he's doing for the economy, I think it definitely will be a good thing going forward. But as my dad says, I have to make sure it goes forward. So I have to reinvent some of the wheels to make sure it goes forward.
What do you see as the biggest changes? What are you reinventing?
Like I had mentioned, sometimes getting around the internet is a challenge. Making my product stand out compared to somebody else's. Why does somebody want to come to my store and buy something versus somewhere else? And hopefully the answer is we treat them well. That's our big thing. Treat somebody as you want to be treated.
Yep.
We can service what we sell, and we take care of you down the road. If you have a problem, you have a home to go to.
Yeah, so you can bring it back and
We're not, our customers aren't just numbers.
Sure.
They're our friends and family, and we say thank you as much as we can.
Well, that seems to be a pretty common theme in Vermont. I've talked to a number of business people now, and that kind of trust is very, very important for folks.
Right.
And so let's hope it stays around for a long, long time to come.
Absolutely.
You were mentioning on the break some real challenges doing business in Middlebury here, dealing with some of the local planning rules and regulations and so on. And Gardner Stone, tell me about what you've sensed on that over time.
Well, I've had the brunt of it for the last, I don't know how many years, but anytime you want to build something, do something in Middlebury, actually this whole state, it's very, very difficult for business, especially to start something new, build something new, build a business. And that's why we're losing a lot of them. They're moving out. I, years ago, wanted to build a building across from the Root Beer Stand. And I got hammered real bad. Fred Dunnington then was the head of the development thing, and he sent a letter to all the people in the neighborhood showing a picture of my pulling tractor, and he said, that's what's going to be there. Yeah, like I'm going to go run that up in front of the building all the time. I don't know how much money I spent in legal fees, how much time I spent to try to get this building. I finally got discouraged and went and bought something somewhere else. Well, the town lost that building, that taxes for 10, 12 years. I finally, later on, went back and built the building, but I wouldn't go to any more of the meetings. I'm sick of getting beat up. But anybody that's moving to here, want to start a business, they got to jump through so many hoops. It's just not easy. And the state of Vermont's the same way. John Rouse is trying to get a tire building built up back, and Act 250 has been up his whatever, and he spent between 50 and 80,000 just trying to get through it, and hasn't got it built yet.
Just on the permitting.
Yes, it's crazy. It's crazy.
That's a tough situation. Darcy, have you already sensed that in your time of?
Oh, absolutely. It's been, like my dad said, a constant struggle. You need plantings. I mean, Middlebury's a big contender when it comes to shrubbery and all of that. And my rebuttal is, what's wrong with grass on a lawn? Everybody else has it. Why can't I have it too? You know, when you put plantings and trees and everything in front of what you're trying to sell, well, it obstructs people's vision.
Yeah.
They don't see what you have.
You buy Route 7 property for the visibility of the property and try to sell your wares. You don't want to shield it.
Yeah, and I guess that road frontage property probably carries a premium in terms of price and so on.
Premium for that and taxes.
Property taxes, yeah.
And so if now you have to build shrubbery in front of that
And block it.
that I suppose there's a sort of a sense of self-defeating kind of a thing going on there.
Absolutely. And years ago, just another thing, but it's a huge thing to us, at G-Stone Motors, we wanted to put up an American flag and a pole. Didn't we jump through hoops just to be able to do that?
Wow.
It was ridiculous.
Tell me, this is, we've been talking about your commercial truck business. Do you also have a car business? Is that?
G-Stone Motors, it's a Ford store.
Oh, I
They
see.
sell
Okay.
new and used Ford cars and trucks and used vehicles.
I
At
see.
my store, at the commercial division, that's where we have the equipment, the bigger trucks, the trailers.
Yeah, I see.
So we have two divisions.
Okay, are they all in the same location or are they in different
No,
places?
G-Stone Motors is right here on Route 7, and I am the one at commercial on Foot Street.
I see, okay, huh. Yeah. Well, it is interesting to hear, to get the full perspective on the challenges that are faced by local business people here. And I do get the sense elsewhere in Vermont as well that it can be a tough thing sometimes to get out there and you have an idea and you have some capital and then you go, whoa, now what? And so it's got to be a tough
Well, I
thing.
think one of the biggest things is listen to the people that have businesses in the community.
Yep.
And especially if they've been there a long time.
Right.
Take some advice from them, and your community will grow.
Well, I want to thank you again very, very much, Gardner Stone and Darcy Stone, for stopping by this morning, sharing your perspective as business people in the Middlebury area. It's great to hear from you.